नात्यन्तिकं विघ्नयन्ति अपि ते प्रसादं किं मन्यद् अर्पितभयं भ्रुव उन्नयैस्ते ये अङ्गत्वदङ्घ्री शरणा भवन्तः तथा यान् कीर्तन्य तीर्थयशसः कुशलारसोऽज्ञः आह इदं विष्णवेदं न मम कामं भवस्व वृजिनैर्निरयेषु नस्त्यात् चेतो निवद्यदीनुते पदयोरभेत वाचश्चनस् तुलसीव यदि ते अङ्घ्रिशोभः पूर्येत ते गुणगुणैर्यदि कर्णरन्ध्रः स्वाहा इदं विष्णवेदं न मम प्रागेश्चकर्थ यदिदं पुरुहूतरूपं तेनेश निवृत्तिम् अवापुरलं दृशो नः तस्माइदं भगवते नम इद्विदेम यो नात्मनां दुर्दयो भगवान् प्रतीतः स्वाहा इदं विष्णवेदं न मम देवाउचुः नमो नमस्ते अखिल यज्ञतत्त्वे सितौ गृहीता मदसत्त्वमूर्ते दृष्ट्या यत् हतोऽयं जगतामरुन् अरुन्तुदस्त्वत्पादभक्त्या वयगीषदिवृतः स्वाहा इदं विष्णवेदं न मम ऋषिरुवाच जुष्टं बताध्या किल सत्वरहेश दशेह सांसिद्ध्याम् अक्ष्णोष् तव दर्शनानः यद्दर्शनं जन्मभिः इत्यसद्भिः आशासते योगिनो रुधा योगः स्वाहा इदं विष्णवेदं न मम ये माययाते हतमेधसस्त्वत्पादारविन्दं भवसिन्धुपूतम् उपासते कामलवाय तेषां राशिः कामानिरयेऽपि ये स्युः स्वाहा इदं विष्णवेदं न मम तथा चित्राहं परिवोढुकामः समानशीलां ग्रहणीतदेव उपेयिवान्मूलम् अशेषमूलं दुराशया कामदुगा Narasimha, Mala Narasimha, Mala Narasimha, Mala Narasimha, Mala Narasimha, Mala Narasimha, Prahlada Narasimha, Prahlada Narasimha, Prahlada Narasimha, Prahlada Narasimha, Narasimha, Prahlada Narasimha, Prahlada Narasimha, Lakshmi 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 Narasimha, Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अग्नि को समुद्र में भेजते हैं। ओम अग्नि त्वं समुद्रं गच्छ। मोदी को प्रणाम करते हुए ओम त्वं शीतलो भव। तीसरे अध्याय के और कैंटो फर्स्ट चैप्टर discuss today onwards the summary of how Vidura goes away from Hastinapur to all the pilgrimage places and meets Uddhava as Maitreya Samvad discussions we'll be doing from today onwards for another 2-3 weeks, 2-3 sessions. Radha Gunja Vihari Jaya Radha Gunja Vihari Jaya Saki Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Jaya Radha Govinda Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Baldeva Jai Subhadra Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu patreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Bhati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ratnatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakan Chanagaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in the previous session we saw there are 10 subject matters. Bhagavatam. Atra sarga visarga shasthanam posham te manvantara ishanu tatha nirodho mukti ashraya. So we know there are 10 subject matters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Third canto deals with the subject creation that is known as sarga. So many questions were asked by Vidura to Maitreya, sage Maitreya, about the subject creation. The third canto, we are in the third canto now. Third canto mainly deals with how this creation took place. Now Vidura is brother of Yudhishthira and Pandava, but he is born to maid servant. He is also son of Vyasa. So we know the story. Why is it that Vidura went to the pilgrimage? What is the reason behind it? So let us see the third canto, first chapter. After that, the second chapter comes and how Vidura meets Uddhava. He asks various questions to, in the first chapter itself, how Vidura meets Uddhava. And the Uddhava is going to answer various questions set by, given by Vidura. And then how Uddhava makes Vidura meet a great sage known as Maitri. So there is Vidura Maitreya Samvad also. The whole Bhagavatam is actually Samvad, conversation. Conversation between Sutta Goswami and Shaulak Rishi, conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami, conversation between Vidura Maitreya. So in this, there are various conversations. Conversation between Vidura and Uddhava. There is conversation means somebody asks a question and there is an answer given. But all these questions and answers are relating to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why every question and every answer is so perfect. Now let us see. Shri Sukuvacha evam etat pura pushto maitreyo bhagavan miraham. Shaktaha vanam pravishtena tektva swagraham roditam. So after renouncing his prosperous home, King Vidura asked this question to his grace, Maitreya Rishi. Now, Pandava's home is compared to Goloka, why Krishna himself is staying in their house. Then why is it that Vidura should leave the home of the Pandavas. It is said Krishna used to come every day to their house, to the house of the Pandavas. But he used to not go to Duryodhana's house. He used to go to Pandava's house. The Vidura could have easily gone to Pandava's house and could have stayed there. Why is it that he left to the pilgrimage and to meet the Maitri Rishi? So it is said that no disturbance of the worldly affairs was significant for Vidura. Though Vidura was insulted by Duryodhana, I knew on this chapter is going to come. It is not that because he was insulted by Duryodhana, that is why he left the home. Superficially, it may be seeming like that. Superficially, it may seem to be. But Vidura actually took advantage of this family misunderstanding and left to meet Maitri Rishi. He was eager to meet Maitri Rishi. It is not that just because Duryodhana spoke some insulting words. Now, king is asking, Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, when and where did this meeting of Vidura and Maitreya took place? Kutra Kshatur Bhagavataha Maitreyana Sangamaha. When did they meet? How Maitri Rishi and Vidura met each other? Please describe to me. Now, Nahi Alpartho Dayastasya Vidurasya Malatmanaha Tasmin Variyasi Prashnaha Sadhu Vado Prabhuvataha. Now, Vidura is a very great devotee of Krishna. And his questions to Saint Rishi, that is Rishi Maitreya, was very purposeful. Whenever a sage asks a question, that is actually for the benefit of the whole world. That is why those questions and answers should be always heard. You may be thinking why we are taking the question answers of Maitreya Vidura, why we are taking the question answers of Vidura and Brahma. We should hear these topics very attentively. Sukadeva Goswami says that great sage Sukadeva Goswami was highly experienced and was pleased with King Parikshit, because Parikshit Maharaj was going on placing questions. In the previous chapter also we saw Parikshit Maharaj placed so many questions. What should be the duty of a person while quitting the body? What should be the duty of the person while he is leaving? What is the time duration of the earthly planet and the celestial planets? Then, in this way, how to remember Lord at the time of quitting the body? So many questions were asked. How did this whole creation take place? How did this subcreation take place? What is Sthanam? What is Poshanam? Everything was asked very nicely. That is why Sukadeva Goswami was so pleased. If the questions are asked, the speaker is more happy because there is an attentive audience. If the audience is attentive and inquisitive, the speaker also gets the enthusiasm to speak. Now he says, Pritatma Shritam Hi, I'm so satisfied by your questions. Please hear attentively from me. Now what happened? Why did Vidura leave home? That's a big question. Why did he leave the palace? We know that how Vyasa, on the request of his mother Satyavati, he comes to the palace, and in this way, Vichitra Virya, Chitrangana, they were no more. So Satyavati had to call Vyasa, because the sons were not there, and Vyasa is also her son. That is why he had to come and impregnate the queens of the palace, because Chitra Virya, Chitrangana are not there. That is why here two sons, Dhritarashtra and Pandu were given, and there was a maid servant who also fell in love with Vyasa. That is why she got Vidura. So then Vidura is also considered as half brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Why did he leave home? Then Sukadeva Goswami narrates. King Dhritarashtra was blind. Okay, he's blind by birth. That's not a fault. Even Surdas was blind by birth, but he was a great devotee of Krishna. But Dhritarashtra was blind even spiritually also. That is why he supported his dishonest sons, that is headed by Duryodhana. He did not speak anything, or he did not obstruct Dushasan action, Dushasan's action of grabbing the hair of Draupadi and trying to strip her naked. He did not even say anything, he did not open his mouth when his sons were doing all criminal activities. And here Dhritarashtra was so blind, and Yudhishthira was so peaceful, and he was actually very truthful person. Though he was cheated in this gambling match, he did not speak anything because he took the vow of truthfulness. So he said, if I lose in this gambling match, I will go to the forest. That is why he went to the forest. And when he came back, he asked for the rightful heir. Please give me some share of the kingdom. But Dhritarashtra refused to do that. So then Lord Krishna had to go as a peace messenger. Again, he was insulted by Duryodhana and others. So then Lord Krishna was sent by Arjuna as a spiritual master to the whole world. But still Dhritarashtra did not care. Krishna went as peace messenger. That means he went to give some message, to give some instructions. But again, Dhritarashtra did not care. Finally, Vidura went to Dhritarashtra because somebody has to be counseled, isn't it? If somebody is doing some mistake, the first is Sama, then Dana, Veda, then comes Danda. The Sama means trying to counsel a person who is doing a wrong activity. So Vidura went as a counselor. He was invited actually by Dhritarashtra because Dhritarashtra wanted to consult him. Dhritarashtra's favorite was Vidura. So that is why he used to consider Vidura as his friend, as his counselor. So he called. Now, Vidura started giving advice. He said, Ajatashatro pratiyachadayam. Ajatashatro. Yudhishthira is known as Ajatashatro. He has no enemies. Pratiyacha. Give him back his share, dayam. Say, whole kingdom should be divided. Actually, the whole kingdom should be ruled by Yudhishthira, but he's not asking the whole kingdom, he's asking some small share. You had sent him to the forest, he went to the forest, came back. At least now give some share to him. And he's Ajata Shatru, he has no enemies. Why are you doing some offenses to such person? See his brother Bhima. He is very revengeful. Be aware of Bhima. If he gets angry, he's like a snake. You should be very afraid of him. Yudhishthira is very bola, but Bhima is like a snake. You should be very much afraid of him. In this way, he again counsels, he says, Lord Krishna, he accepted the sons of Pandu as his own kinsmen. He used to go to his house, their houses. And they used to consider Krishna as their family members. And Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is why you be very careful. Give back their kingdom. And he said, Sa esha doshaha purushaha svit dvit aste grahan pravishtoyam apatyahamatya. You are maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna. And who is he? Duryodhana. Duryodhana is very, very sinful. Yasa esha doshaha purushaha. He has so much of doshas. And he is offense personified. And he is so envious of Krishna. So better is you give up such association of your son. Because your son is actually bringing you ill fortune. He is a non-devotee. It is said a good son is called apatya. Apatya means one who does not allow his father to fall down. But your son is apatyamatyaha. You consider that your son is not going to make you fall down, but your son is very inauspicious to you. Ashaivam, Ashaivam, Shivam, Ashaivam. Shivam means auspicious. Ashaivam means inauspicious. Your son is inauspicious to your family. Better is give up such son. Don't support him. Relieve yourself. Vidura is advising Yudhishthira Maharaj, this is all before the war, Mahabharata war starts. Now, Duryodhana is hearing all these things. Duryodhana was so angry. Then Duryodhana insulted his uncle, that is Vidura. He says, Kayena matro pachuhava chimma dasasya sutam yadvalineva pushtaha. Who has called him here? This person is a crooked person, Jimam. Jimam means mad person. Dashyaha, actually sage Viduraha, is a saintly person. Duryodhana knew this, but still Duryodhana was so envious and he was guided by, cannot say guided, misguided by Shakuni, his uncle. He says, this is Dasyaha, this is a son of Dasasutam, he's a son of a mistress. In those times, Kshatriya kings, when they used to bring the queens, they used to bring the maid servants of the queens also. At that time, sometimes intimate association with the maid servants, the king used to beget the children. So here also, this is maid servant's son. They are known as Dasi Putraha. They used to get all the benefit of the palace and all those things. They used to be maintained by the kings. So he is anyhow the son of a Dasi. He's so crooked. And he's actually a spy. Spy in the interest of our enemy. Our enemy is Pandavas. And he is actually the spy of the Pandavas. And actually remove him out of the palace. In fact, he was thinking he should be whipped on the streets. And leave him only with his breath. Just make him go out of this palace. Actually, it was a big blow for Vidura. Anyhow, Vidura placed his bow on the door and just quit his brother's palace. But he was not sorry for whatever he had heard. Why? Because he considered it as an act of external energy of the Supreme. He could have gone to Krishna, but he did not go directly to Krishna. He considered himself a sinful person because till now he was giving support to Dhritarashtra, who was very sinful. He was staying with Dhritarashtra, that is why he considered himself sinful. He wanted to purify himself, that is why he left to take shelter of many places of pilgrimages. It is said, Yesham Tantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmana. Ke Dvandva Moha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Vilavata. Yesham Tantagatam Papam. Till a person's sins are completely eradicated, he cannot take shelter of Krishna. It is not so easy to go to Golok Vrindavan Dham. Many times you think, just by chanting, yes, you can go to Golok Vrindavan Dham, provided your all sins are completely eradicated. Not even a small tinge of sins are left, then only a person can go back to God. Now Krishna is there in Hastinapur, but still Vidura preferred first to go to the pilgrimages and do tapasya and remove all the sins. It is not that we can have uncontrolled senses and just do what we like, just eat what we want and go back home, back to God. It's not so easy to go back home, back to God. So here to do tapasya, Vidura left for pilgrimages. Then he went to Ayodhya, Dwarka. That means all these temples were existing 5,000 years before. It is not they are just existing, they are created now only. No, they were existing 5,000 years before also. Archa Vigrahas are existing time immemorial. So these Archa Vigrahas are none other than Krishna himself. Krishna manifests in different forms. One of the form of Krishna is Archa Vigraha form. So he traveled where the air, hill, orchard, river, lake, and they are also pure and sinless. He went to different pilgrimages. And then he went to various holy places. He sanctified himself. He took bath there. He dressed like a mendicant. And in this way, he was just living a very simple life. Then he came to Prabhas Kshetra. There he got the news. He knew. What is the news now he has got? Maharaj Yudhishthira is now the emperor. The whole world is under one military strength, one flag. When this has happened? When? After the Mahabharat war. And also after the Yadus, all the Yadu family was completely destroyed. Destroyed means they destroyed themselves. They also unmanifested. Krishna also unmanifested. All these news Vidura got. Now he knew that all his relatives are dead because they had so much of passion. So on the banks of Saraswati, he reached there. Then afterwards he passed through Surat, then Kurujangala, and finally on the banks of Yamuna, that means he has come to now Vrindavan. There is a tract of land between Mathura and New Delhi, that is Hastinapur. It is said that is very auspicious place. This tract of land is very auspicious. Modern Delhi to Mathura district, that is Gurgaon district in Punjab. This includes this Gurgaon district in Punjab. Why this tract of land is very auspicious? Because Krishna used to travel from Mathura to his, he used to travel from Mathura to Vrindavan. In this way, Mathura, Vrindavan, Mathura to Hastinapur. He used to travel from this place many times. That is why this place is very auspicious. So he traveled from this place and then through this place and reached Yamuna. And there on the banks of Yamuna, he met Uddhava. Now Uddhava is actually cousin brother of Krishna. So in this way, and Uddhava was a constant companion of Krishna. Vidura embraced Uddhava. Now, if you see how Uddhava is related to Vidura, Vidura is actually elder person. Uddhava is very younger. That is why Vidura, though embraced Uddhava pays obeisances. Vidura's brother is Pandu, isn't it? And Pandu is Krishna's uncle. So Pandu is Krishna's uncle. So Uddhava is a cousin of Krishna. So that is why Vidura was respected by Uddhava like father. Because Krishna's uncle is Pandu. So in this way, Krishna's father is Vasudeva. Vasudev's sister is Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani is a wife of Pandu. That is why, in this way, Uddhava is like a son for Vidura. So Vidura was asking Uddhava about the welfare of his relatives. Please tell me. He's asking as if he doesn't know anything. He's asking because he wants actually to know more about Krishna and how this all unmanifest pastimes happened. That is why he's asking to Uddhava. Please tell me, how is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna? How is he doing well in the house of Sursen? He knows now Krishna has unmanifested. And then he is asking, how is my brother-in-law? Now Vasudeva is brother-in-law for Vidura. How? Vasudeva had 16 wives. One of the wife is Devaki, one of the wife is Rohini. Rohini is sister of Vidura. That is why Vasudeva is brother-in-law for Vidura. So Vidura is asking that my brother-in-law is so wonderful. He maintains his wives also nicely and he takes care of his sisters also. Vasudeva's sister is Kunti Maharani. When Kunti Maharani was in utter difficulty, at that time Vasudeva used to help her by sending whatever requirements. Then he is asking, how is the son of Krishna, Pradyumna? How is he? Rukmini's son is Pradyumna. Rukmini and Krishna bore him as their son. How is he? How is Ugrasen? He is asking. Now, Ugrasen was actually, he had gone away from the, he was imprisoned, then afterwards he went away far from the kingdom. But then again Krishna called him, Ugrasen. He called him back and he re-established him as a king, installed him as a king. How is Sambha? Sambha is born from Jambavati. Jambavati again is wife of Krishna. So he's asking various questions. How is Yudhan? Then how is Akrur? We know Akrur, he went to bring Krishna to Mathura. So how is Akrur? And then how is Devaki? Devaki is compared to the Vedas. It is said, Trayi yatha yagyaha vithanam artham. Devaki is compared to Vedas. Vedas hold Krishna. Even Devaki held Krishna in the womb. How is Aniruddha? It is said the Rig Vedas emanate from Aniruddha. It's also said, so Aniruddha, about Aniruddha is said, the Rig Vedas emanate from him. All of them are Vishnu Tattvas. Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. They are all Vishnu Tattvas. So Aniruddha also appeared as a son of Krishna. Then he's asking about the son of Satyabhama. Various questions were asked. Then he's asking, how is King Yudhishthira doing now? Is he maintaining the kingdom according to the religious principles? Duryodhana was so envious of Yudhishthira Maharaj. How is he doing now? And then, did Bhima take some action against this envious Duryodhana? Then, how is Arjuna? He had his famous Gandir. How is he? Is he satisfied now? Because he could satisfy Lord Shiva. That is why Lord Shiva gave him Pashupata Astra. So are now Bhima, Arjuna and Yudhishthira taking care of twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev? Because Nakul and Sahadev, they are born to Madhuri. Even Kunti wanted to become Sati. It is said in those times, the very chaste wives, they used to become Sati. When the husband used to leave the body, they also used to, willingly they used to go and burn themselves. Like they used to also go in the fire. But then when Kunti Maharani wanted to become Sati, at that time, Madhuri requests, no, you should take care of the 5 children. So these two, that is Nakul and Sahadev, were taken care so nicely, even by the brothers and Kunti Maharani. It is said that how the eyelids, they protect the eyes in the same way. Kunti Maharani and others, other brothers, they used to, her other sons, they used to take care of these twin brothers very nicely. Is Pritha still living? Is Kunti Maharani still living? Because she was not wishing to stay after her husband died. But still, just for the sake of her upbringing the 5 children, she was keeping herself alive. Now when everything is settled, is she living or what? Tell me something about her. Then, because he wanted to ask about Dhritarashtra, but he did not ask because he knew Dhritarashtra was so much in adharma. He says, I'm just lamenting for this Dhritarashtra because he took the wrong side. Because of him, I was driven away from my own home. His son insulted me, but still he was quiet. Because he took the line of action adopted by his own sons. Anyhow, so aham harer bhaktyaha vidambanena. I am not astonished by all these things. Main purpose for me is solved. I just traveled around the world and I could take darshan of so many wonderful personalities. I could hear about the activities of the Supreme Personality of God. So, though the activities of the Lord are bewildering to others, but for me, it is giving me, I can understand His greatness. So, in this way, Lord, when appears, why He appears, Nunam Nibam, 3, Madopataham, Mahis Mahus Charyatam Chamudhi, Udat, Prapannarth, Jihirshayeshu, Api upai shatagam bhagavan puruna. Why Lord appears? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya dushkrita. To relieve the distress of the sufferers. Arti jihirshaya. To relieve the sufferings of the conditioned souls. Lord himself appears. The Lord appears in the family of the Lord appears. And in this way, in the family of the Vishnus. And he protects the Pandavas from killing, he is protecting. But he refrained from killing the Kurus, although they committed so much of sins. When Draupadi was tried to be stripped naked, when the lakh house was made to kill the Pandavas, at that time itself he could have killed the Rashtrapa and the Kurus, but he did not do that intentionally. What was the purpose? There were many other impious kings all over the earthly planets. That is why he was finding a situation, or he was waiting for that time when all will be assembled in one place and it will be very easy to kill them in mass killing. That is why he did not kill in slots, he just killed in mass. So now the purpose of the Lord is to annihilate all the impious kings. That is the purpose of his coming. So my friend, please therefore chant the glories of the Lord. Otherwise, so chant the glories of Vidura is asking Uddhava. So I want to hear the glories of the Lord. Please chant his glories. Tasya prapanna khila lokapanam avasthitanam anushasane svi arthai jatasya dussa yashva dasya vartam sakhe kirteya tantaya kirte. Oh Sakhe, oh my friend, please chant. He's asking to Uddhava. Now Uddhava is younger to Vidura, his like son. He says, oh Sakhe, please chant the glories of Vidu. So in this way now, the second chapter starts. The Sukadeva Goswami says, when Uddhava heard the questions by Vidura, so many questions were asked about the family of Krishna. How is Pradyumna, how is Aniruddha, how is... so in this way, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and how is Vasudeva? So many questions were asked. Now Uddhava immediately could not speak because he started remembering Krishna. The questions were based on the topic of Krishna. And Uddhava immediately could not answer. Because he was a great devotee of Krishna, and Krishna's unmanifested himself. So he was remembering Krishna so extensively that he could not answer the questions. He said, Yaha panchahaya matraha pratar asaya yachata. And from the age of 5 years, Uddhava, his cousin brother of Krishna, but he used to serve Krishna so much. It is said that when he used to be called for breakfast by his mother, Uddhava's mother used to call him, come for the breakfast. He was not wishing to go and have it because he was so absorbed in the service of Krishna. Natural devotee of Krishna. He was liking to serve Krishna very nicely. Even when he used to play with the dolls which had the forms of Krishna. So that much love he had. And continuously he used to serve Krishna from the age of 5. Like how Prahlad Maharaj used to serve, like Uddhava also used to serve. And now, in his old age, that attitude of service did not vanish, did not go, did not reduce. So when he was asked to speak about Lord, he at once remembered everything. At the time, Sa Muhurtam Abhuta Tushtim Krishnangari Shuddhaya Vrisham Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Nimagnaha Sadhu Nivrittaha. So he remained silent for some time. His body did not move. Was remembering Krishna's lotus feet so much. And in that he went in ecstasy. Vidura could see that how Uddhava's body had so many transcendental bodily changes. He was crying in ecstasy and he was wiping the tears. Vidura could understand that Uddhava has so much extensive love for the Lord. Now Uddhava was completely in the abode of Lord. He was remembering Lord. Remembering Lord is equal to being with the Lord in his abode. He came back from the abode of Lord and wiped his tears and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. He says, Uddhavacha Krishna Divani Nimloche Ganeshu Achadarni Karena Viha Kim no Naha Kushalam Bruyam Kata Shishu Grihishu Aham. He says the sun of the world, that is Krishna, he has set. The sun has set. That means the sun has disappeared. Now our house is completely swallowed by the snake of time, great snake of time. Why are you asking about our welfare? Who can be happy without Krishna? The whole universe has become so unfortunate. Even the Yadu dynasties are more unfortunate. Why they are more unfortunate? Because they cannot remember, they could not identify that the family member, Krishna, is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why they were more unfortunate. They considered him as only their family member. But they could not identify Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like how the fish, any more than the fish could identify the moon. The reflection of the moon falls on the water, but the fishes cannot identify. So Yadus were very expert devotees, no doubt. They were learned, everything. They were always with Krishna. They used to relax with him. Still, they were not able to know his glories in full. That he was a Supreme Personality of Godhead who was dwelling everywhere. So it is said, it is only Krishna's illusory energy which deviates the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls. So, which does not deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered. So they were surrendered souls. So the illusory energy actually could not deviate their intelligence. And then further he says, Lord Krishna manifested his external form before the vision of everyone. Tadarshiyata taptaha tapasam avitruptaha drisham nulam. So he manifested his external form. Though he has disappeared, but he is present. It is not that he is not present, he is present. Just people cannot see him. And to see him, it requires a lot of penance, tapas. So Lord appeared in this mortal world by his Yogamaya potency. And Lord's transcendental body is the ornament of all the ornaments. In this way, Uddhava is describing. On Sunday, we will complete this whole section. The summary of third chapter, third canto, first to fifth. How Uddhava describes the glories of Krishna. Then how Uddhava, by divine arrangement, how Maitreya comes and how Uddhava introduces Maitreya Rishi to Vidura. And then afterwards Uddhava leaves and there is Vidura Maitreya Samvad. So the different questions asked by Vidura to Maitreya Rishi. That will be on Sunday.
So why not Krishna stop them?
This is a question asked. Why Krishna did not stop? So why did not Krishna stop Pandavas then? Krishna has given a free will for everyone. And there should be a cause. No? Any of the Pandavas were not using their free will. But it is a Leela of Krishna. Because the whole adharma, all adharmic kings had to be killed. Then something has to be the cause. So this was the cause.